first of all, I want to shake your hand. My name is Ahmad Smith.
Hey, Ahmad,
Yeah,
nice to
I'm
meet
a
you.
I do a lot of work, try to do a lot of work with the youth and stuff,
Yeah,
man. And situations like this I kind of report on, and then I use it for
yeah,
when I speak to the youth as a, as a learning lesson
good.
as to what to and what not to do.
That's great.
If I can I ask you a few
Yeah,
questions?
you can ask me.
Um,
I may not be able to answer them
oh,
all,
right,
but you
right.
can
No,
openly
not
ask.
about this because I know
Yeah,
you can't answer nothing about this, but just in the years that you um held the position that you hold, situations like this, because I've seen you do a lot of work in the community and you try your best considering the situation to um I guess you could say assist both sides. um Situations like this, how does this make you feel? Of course not good, but knowing that two families are going to be affected, how do situations like this affect you?
well, I couldn't have said it better. There are two families who things are going to really change for them. And, I remember being young, like, I always thought that, like, I didn't care if I died tonight. I thought I was going to live forever, and I didn't like it when people stepped to
Right.
it. And the, the tragedy of shooting like that, it's the who winds up who winds up dead and who winds up in handcuffs. Sometimes it's just a matter of who gets the jump on
Right.
who. But either way, like, our moms don't care.
Right.
Like, our moms don't want us dead. Our moms don't want
Exactly.
to be visiting us in Red Onion. They
Exactly.
don't want this.
Exactly.
Like, and almost always, especially when I was young, like, if I was beefing with somebody, it was over something stupid.
Right.
It just wasn't
And
worth
most of the time, it's always over
it.
something stupid.
And it's just
Yeah.
not worth it.
Yeah.
What I tell myself, what I tell my sons, is like, getting mad is just part of being a human being.
Right.
Like, you're going to get mad at
Right.
stuff.
Right.
Like, what saves us from either being a box or being in a cage is taking a JP Page, the councilman says, take 24,
Mm-hmm.
24 hours
Mm-hmm.
to breathe, think about it. Was it worth it?
Right.
Do you even have the right idea about what it was that you were mad about?
Right.
Like, did you have the right information?
Right.
Even if you had the right information, is it really worth it?
Right.
And everybody thinks it ain't gonna happen to me, I ain't gonna get caught, or I'm not the one that's gonna die, whatever. Just by the time you find out you're wrong, it's too late.
It's too late.
And the best thing is, you know, everybody thinks that being a man is
Right.
about showing me no bitch,
Right.
like not letting people show out.
Right. Right.
Like, the biggest man in the room is the one where somebody steps to him and it's just like,
He chills the situation and goes the other way.
it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, nothing. There's no bigger flex than you ain't even important enough for me to waste my time on.
Right. Right. And
Like that, and that's what a bigger man is like. That, and I wish I knew it when I was younger. It would have saved me some grief.
right.
And a lot of the cases and a lot of worlds I deal with are, I wish I could just pull the person up
Right.
from in the casket and say, like,
And-
it wasn't worth it, and the guy in the cell be like, told you it wasn't worth it.
Right. And I can speak to that firsthand. Um, I've been home 3 years. I served 25 years for first degree murder.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Thank you for giving.
I'm an active member of my community now. I've had Governor Northam restore my rights, so I
Fantastic.
vote. I hit the polls whenever there's one open.
Good for you. You voted today?
I did early voting
Very
week before
good.
last.
Very good.
I actually did an interview with Aaron
Yes,
Rouse. So
that
yes,
is
sir.
great. Thank you for voting.
But I only speak to that to say that I know firsthand both sides. My mother, though I did the time that I did, I did the crime that I did. My mother was a Virginia Beach police officer for 34 years. You understand what I'm saying? So just imagine the dynamic in that household.
Yeah.
And everything that she told me and warned me, and nothing that I listened to came true. You understand what I'm saying? So, I know firsthand how this affects families in a great way. And again, I'm just one person. There are many guys doing greater work than I'm doing, and they're even more hands-on in the community, trying to curb as much as we can the gun violence, man. And and I definitely go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say thank you for
Yeah,
what you're doing.
yeah, no problem, man. I mean, it's we always say, like, incarcerated. There are so many guys who we see stuff like this on the news, and
we like, man, if I was home, maybe my story could have helped one of them guys. Maybe my story, they could have looked at my story and say, you know what, I don't want to go sit in a cell for 25, 30, 40 years. I seen what he went through. You see what I'm saying? So there are a lot of guys who are returning and will be in these same communities who are coming back to actually assist, man. You know what I'm saying? And though we did the time, there's no ill will towards anyone because we were idiots. We did the crime. We had to serve the time, and most of us are coming home and doing our best to right our wrongs, because we don't want to see stuff like this happen. You know what I'm saying? No one should lose their life behind ignorance. I don't know what happened here, but I'm just saying, yeah.
I don't know, you know, what the exact backstory was.
Right.
It's not something I can even talk
Right,
about.
right. I
But
understand.
it's never worth it.
It's
just
never worth it. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Another quick question for you, because I don't want to slow you up. And I asked Mr. Rouse the same way. So I just want to ask you, what is your stance on? I think I know the answer, but what is your stance on criminal justice reform? And because I know reform has two sides. There's a side who feels that people should be given another chance, and then there's a side who says, well, they blew their chance, they where there should be.
I believe in second chances. I'm a criminal justice reform believer. I'm a progressive prosecutor.
Okay.
Like, I absolutely believe in it. And, you know, one of the big mistakes that we made in the 1990s was just thinking that more prison was better.
Right.
And
Right.
that's not how this works.
Right.
I always say it's like the price is right.
Right.
Like, you want to get to the number, but the minute you go over that number, it's unjust, it's
Right.
expensive, you throw people's lives away, make us less safe by taking citizens out of the community.
Right.
And every week, sometimes more than once a week, I get an email from the parole board. And most people in Virginia aren't eligible for parole.
Right.
Like, which is unjust.
Right.
That is unjust.
Right.
And that's something that I can't fix as a prosecutor.
Right. True.
But every week I get emails from the parole board saying, do you think this person should get parole?
Right.
And, you know, practically every single time, my answer is yes.
Right. Right.
Because if we know, criminal justice reform, like, it's got two pieces. One is, like, black people, poor people, unconnected people have gotten jammed in the system over the last 400 years.
Right.
And then people wonder why for every 100 murders, only 60 people get arrested. Like, people don't trust the system.
Right.
And the way you fix your problem is acknowledge you have a problem and make amends.
Right.
So those of us who believe in doing it the right way, we say, like, we recognize that the system didn't work.
Right.
We try to do it differently. And then we say, let's actually do the things that make us safer, which is community investment and the like. But also, if we're dealing with something where somebody has done a crime, let's not just crush them. Let's figure out what we need to do. And, like, one of the big things we've learned is that most people, even people who've pulled the trigger, by the time they get to, you know, you and I are probably about the same age. I'm 47.
I'm
You're
47.
There you go, man.
Right.
Like, you know, by the time we hit about the age of 40, all the dudes who study crime say that by the time we're 40, we're unlikely to be doing this kind of thing.
Right.
And by the time we're at 45, it's pretty much zero.
Right.
And that means that, like, for most people, even who've committed murders, like, if they're 19, 20 years old, 25 years old, like, they need to be locked up past about 45.
Right. Right.
If you're 45 and kill somebody,
Right.
like, you need to be locked up for a while, but,
Right.
like, but again, you don't need 100 years.
Right.
Like,
Right.
There's enough.
Understood.
And what I do as Commonwealth's attorney in Norfolk is, like, all the murders cases go through me. That's why I come out here. Like, so that when we're talking about, are we going to make a plea offer?
Right.
If we've gone to trial, like, what are we going to ask for at sentencing?
Right.
Like, I want to make sure that I've been very intentional and thoughtful about what I'm asking for, so that we're not giving 60, 80, letters and numbers, like life plus whatever, by accident.
Right. Understood.
And as a general matter, like, the goal is, like, look, somebody's dead. Somebody's mother is going to grieve forever. Like, somebody's got to go to prison.
Right. There has to be a penalty. Right.
But we have to recognize that the person who commits a crime at the age of 20 or 22 is not the same person at 42
right.
or 52.
And again, I can attest to that as well. Like,
like
I was
Lawrenceville is full of dudes who,
I was there.
you know,
I was there.
They are not they're not the same people who went in.
Right, and
And
there a lot of those guys. They call me. Many of them call me. I've written recommendation letters
yeah,
for the few who are still eligible for parole,
yeah,
and who are filing for some type of clemency or what
yeah,
have you.
yeah.
And I
Eligible
hope that
pardons.
I actually hope that my story, because I came home. I got my CDL. I'm a marine electrician.
Fantastic.
My rights were restored, so I have my TWIC, so I have access to all the
That's
bases, and
great.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
All of these things that I put the work in inside to come
yeah,
home and put forth
yeah.
out here to be an active member of my community. So, I know that there are many guys in there who are doing.
Will die in prison,
Yeah,
and
sadly, yeah.
it, you know, there are different reasons to lock people up. And another problem that old school prosecutors had is they never tried to tease out those different reasons. There's punishment, there's rehabilitation, and there's warehousing, like basically community safety.
Right.
And you got to figure out like why you're asking for what you're asking for. Like if somebody commits a murder and we know they're never going to commit another murder ever again, they still have to go to prison.
Right.
Because it's a murder.
Understood.
Like you can't not go to prison for a murder.
Understood.
Like if you had a right to do it, it wouldn't be a crime. It'd
Right.
be self-defense.
Right.
Like if it's a murder, you didn't have a right to do it, so
Right.
you got to do time. But like, then the question is like, how much time is enough?
Right.
If you're talking about punishment, rehabilitation, we get some in prison, but not enough. I mean,
That's true.
We don't put enough into our schools.
That's
like,
true. That's a
then,
fact. Yeah.
And then there's the public safety. Like the very, I think in 4+ years, I've only authorized the request for 5 life sentences out of 16,000 cases we've done. Like, and practically every one of those cases was a dude who was mentally ill,
Right.
but not legally insane.
Right.
So he wasn't eligible to go to a hospital, but he wasn't ever going to get better.
Right.
Like what made him do the crime was not something that I could educate him out of. So I didn't feel anger. Like it was like, I'm really sorry. Like I'm super sorry, but like this is a person who's not going to get it, and that makes him dangerous.
Right.
Like he didn't ask to be
Right.
touched like that, but it doesn't change the fact.
Right.
And so you love the sinner and hate the sin. But there are a lot of people who were in there serving life, serving 80 years, serving 100. Nobody thought about like, why are we like, are we asking it because we're mad?
Right.
Are we asking it because they're dangerous? Are we like, why did we get this sentence?
Wow.
Because if you think about why you're asking for it, then what you're asking for starts to come in sharper focus. Or you got to check yourself as a prosecutor or as a judge, or and say like, okay, what am I trying to achieve?
Right.
And then the answer becomes different.
Right. Another brief question for you.
Yeah.
So you said normally in situations like this, you come out so you can assess the situation yourself.
24 hours a day.
Wow. Are there other Commonwealth attorneys who do the same?
Yeah.
They do?
There are.
Okay.
There are.
Okay.
Some do, some don't.
Does this, and as you said earlier, this not just being here, but I'm sure the totality of the situation helps you weigh more as to how you're going to proceed forward with prosecuting the case?
There's no substitute for seeing
Right.
the scene firsthand,
Right.
for standing over the victim,
Right.
For grieving in the way that I grieve, because every murder victim, for that matter, every murder defendant, I try to imagine that they're one of my sons. I've got 2 sons. I try to say, if this were my boy, whether it's the defendant or the victim,
Wow.
so that I can have sympathy for both sides.
Right.
But also just from a practical point of view, like when the case comes up and we got to figure out what we're doing with it, I'm going to remember it
Right.
in a way that no, like reading of a police report or watching of a body camera is going to do. There's no substitute for being here.
Understood.
And it's what I would expect if my loved one were shot and killed. It's what I would expect out of my prosecutor.
Right.
And that's the standard I hold myself to.
Right.
Like, I'm going to do what I would expect somebody else to do for me.
Understood. Well, I definitely appreciate your time. I know you're a busy individual. I would love to actually sit down with you more, man, because I think it's a lot I can learn from you. You're actually one of the few people who, the position that you hold, actually stop and talk. And I think that people in the community need to see that more, because you're human. And I think a lot of people kind of demonize people who hold your position, no matter what side they stand on, but especially from the side of the suspect. It kind of demonize you all. And but to hear you say what you just said and weighing everything of it, it puts a human face and emotions to you.
The prosecutors, like, we sit in judgment before the judge ever gets to it.
Wow.
And I understand why people don't like prosecutors, why they think I and people like me, like, they don't want to, like, deal with us, because a lot of us have just crushed people. Like, it's hundreds of years of just getting crushed.
Right.
And, you know, that may not have been me, but I still, you know, I carry the legacy.
Understood.
And that means I have to make amends, even if it wasn't anything I did.
Right. Understood.
As a prosecutor, I can tell you that there is nothing that makes me happier than somebody who's done their time and comes out and does well.
Yes, sir.
Because every single person who does what you do, which is paid your debt, came out, you're doing well, you boost my credibility when I say we don't need to put everybody in prison for life for that.
Exactly. And I'm hoping that I'm doing the right thing and being that example. So
you are.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely. You take
Yes,
care
sir.
of yourself.
You do the same,
right?
brother.
And
Yes, sir.
thank you for being out here.
Yes.